Greetings, this is Chester from the Sampleist, and our sonic journey today is Triumph Audio's Roadtrip Percussion. Before we dive in, I'd like to make it crystal clear that the copy of this library we're reviewing was graciously provided to us by the developer. However, let me assure you that our commitment to delivering honest and transparent reviews remains unwavering. Our goal is to arm you with all the information you need to decide if this library deserves a spot in your musical toolkit. Let's embark on an extraordinary auditory expedition with Roadtrip Percussion. This library is a tapestry of found sounds collected from all over the globe. I ask you to picture this, traveling all over to sample massive containers, colossal wine vats, Italian church bells, majestic pipe organs, echoing subway stations, building a symphony on the unexpected. A special sound for me was the Japanese Ohara peace bell that was beautifully captured in this library, hailing from northern Minnesota, where I grew up. The library occupies a generous 4.47 gigs on your machine, a grand total of 144 patches, giving you plenty of ample sonic playground to explore. Roadtrip Percussion is compatible with Kontakt 5.8.1 or higher. A heads up though, the free Kontakt Player won't be joining this percussion party and doesn't appear to be supported. Roadtrip Percussion is currently offered at an introductory price of $45, which is honored until September 15th of 2023. Then it will be available at $89. Let's now explore some presets that this library has to offer. Okay, so that's the musical piece I wrote, composed entirely of Triumph Audio's Roadtrip Percussion. When I first thought about what kind of piece I would do, I instantly thought of a trailer cue due to the fact that this was a percussion library. But as I opened it up for the first time and saw several patches for pads, Brahms, tonal percussion, etc., it felt right to keep it going in this direction. So this piece only has Triumph Audio Roadtrip Percussion patches. I used no other sample library or virtual instruments for this project. The goal was to showcase the library's versatility and expansive potential. The composition resides comfortably in the key of E minor. As I ventured into the presets, I ensured that for non-tonal instruments, I set the key to E and selected the appropriate octave. For other instruments lacking pitch control, I just simply played within the scale. So a couple of examples of this would be like these wine vats. Here we go. All right, so the wine vats here, they're set to E, and it just sounded better than using this higher E. Just want a nice, big, beefy wine vat. Who else wouldn't, right? So that helped, and then a lot of these others have the same thing, like probably this loop. Yeah, that's an E. Just sounded kind of better here. You get more of the hit. And then we have, let's use this glockenspiel and xylophone example. No way to set it, so I just play in the key, just making sure everything sounds as it needs. And then to anchor the low end, I set the filter cutoff very low for these Brahms patches, allowing them to hold down the foundation of the track. While bass-specific options are somewhat limited in this library, I wouldn't be too discouraged. I mean, there's plenty of low-end goodness here to explore in the hits and in some of the patches. You do want to search for them and then kind of tinker around a little bit and bend them to your will. I did that a little bit in these garage door Brahms. And then I have nice little filter cutoff modulation here, kind of to add movement to the sound. And then like I showed in the presets example, I think I ended up just going with this key, but I did originally try some of the tuning knob elements and felt this was the way to get to the end result. Just sounded better. Reverse pads and sounds make cameo appearances, serving as responsive elements to the call moments of this piece. Additionally, they function as transitional effects, seamlessly leading into the next sections. Now, I opted not to bounce or freeze any audio for this piece, which I typically would have done to push the sounds further. Given the nature that this is a review, I just aimed to keep processing as minimal as I could. Now, this library's potential truly shines, I believe, when you take these sounds and turn them into audio and then experiment on them further. It's a fantastic way to elevate your compositions and set yourself apart from others. So I would have definitely done that down here with this kind of call and response of these to the Brahms. And then as I go in here where I use them to kind of push us into the next sections, there would have been much more to go. But in time, with time and with this being a review, I just kind of left it as MIDI. But a lot of fun can be had that way, for sure. While the library does offer melodic instruments and leads, I did find it somewhat challenging to have them take the forefront in the mix or even the arrangement. Ultimately, I chose to let them complement the piece's texture, yet this still allowed them to punctuate through their dedicated frequencies. So this isn't so much a critique on the library, though. It's more just that I recognize my limitations by solely using this library. It wouldn't have taken much effort for me to introduce other patches or infuse some soaring or expressive melodies into the track. Though I do have one example where I felt the melody did work for me. Was this clock and xylophone. And I had a lot of fun with this pitch LFO. I set it to about 0.49 semitones for an amount, and then had the rate real slow on eighths. So with a sine wave. So preset. These are presets here you can set for the LFO, and it kind of gives it a real weird, mystical, kind of vibey kind of thing. And it did kind of bring it out more than not having an LFO. So that was one way to go about it, but a lot of options there too. An example where I did originally attempt to add a lead would have been here with this patch. Now I had a busier idea here, more melodic and kind of something that moves and soars, but it wasn't fitting with all the other elements. And then there's this element here, I believe. Yeah. Which is a Kevin Matthey 16th note filter pulse loop. And they just were kind of not working. So to kind of just get the arrangement just feeling good, I just had them as textural elements that just kind of fit. And felt that sounded pretty strong than the original ideas that I started out with. There is also one other fun section here, which was this kind of middle break, where I used a lot of sound design in the elements of this library to kind of create this industrial, creepy space with this little toy piano, very much just bringing a back end element. You would almost expect to hear something like that in the front, but I just wanted that to be kind of in the back and almost defining the space that we're in. And so a lot of these other scrapes and sounds got to be in the forefront, especially this metal slide. Not sure what I clicked on there, but let's get the metal slide, yeah. And so the metal slide, here we go, has me just hitting a few of the hits here as we're playing it. And this was a really cool patch that Kevin sounded like. There's a story, I don't know if it's in his blog or website or where it was, but just talked about this metal slide being something he captured a long, long time ago and used for Invader Zim. And I found a lot of applications for it, not even in this piece, but elsewhere too. It's a really cool option. Same with these tree scraping patches. They are or this soda scrape chaos goes a long way for you. And that's the piece, Odyssey of Rhythms. All right, so it's time to wrap up our journey with some final reflections. Triumph Audio has truly delivered a remarkably creative and versatile sample library with Roadtrip Percussion. It's astonishing to think that this project has spanned over 2 decades and multiple global expeditions to curate. The sheer versatility showcased in this library is a testament to the dedication poured into its creation. When I first opened up this library to check it out, what caught me off guard was the wealth of tonal elements nestled within this percussion-focused library. It's a reminder that musical inspiration can arise from unexpected places. Speaking of inspiration, the photosynthesis engine adds another layer of depth, empowering us users to sculpt and mold these sounds to fit our own unique musical vision. Kudos to Kevin Matthey and the Triumph Audio team for an outstanding job on this library. It's evident that their passion has fueled every corner of Roadtrip Percussion. Minnesota represent. This is Chester signing off from the Sampleist. I hope you've enjoyed this review. If you're hungry for more insightful reviews, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to stay tuned with all things the Sampleist. Until our paths cross again, keep having fun making your music. Cheers.